How are you doing? I was just watching the whole thing. I watched about at least a good 50 to 60 minutes of towards the end portion. So I got a little detailed information. I got your videos. We're going to put you into it. He's basically most likely signed. He's already signing the emergency. The emergency is declared. It's already being declared. We're going to get into it basically today here live on JWTV. All right, we're here live on JWTV. Probably, I say about an hour ago, he was going into the Oval Office, going to sign the declaration. The emergency has already been declared, basically, like I said. We're going to go into some of the video, though, and some of the footage of the meeting so you can look at some of this stuff. And he also said one of the old Obama emergencies he would use basically as well. We'll get into that coming up in a few. So basically already we got the sources already out. And like I said, I already watched it and I seen everything that was said. Trump declares national emergency to fund U.S.-Mexico border wall. And then you go into the next one that says Trump declares emergency on border. Eyes $8 billion for the wall as he plans to sign spending package. So he was up there basically, he talked about it. Talked about the different situations. And I said last night I thought maybe the declaration would have been declared, but they had to go through the House basically, and the bill was taking hours to get set up, then also voted on, and they passed that. Which the deal with DACA and all that stuff, a lot of people didn't like. But we're gonna go into this right now. This video basically that was a few minutes ago.
So I'm going to be signing a national emergency, and it's been signed many times before. It's been signed by other presidents. From 1977 or so, it gave the presidents the power. There's rarely been a problem. They sign it. Nobody cares. I guess they weren't very exciting, but nobody cares. They sign it for far less important things in some cases, in many cases. We're talking about an invasion of our country with drugs, with human traffickers, with all types of criminals and gangs. We have some of the greatest people I know. They've been with me from the beginning of my campaign, almost from the first week, the angel moms. Unfortunately, we have new angel moms. One incredible woman just showed me her daughter, who we're talking about killed in the year of 18. I said, I haven't seen you before. She said, no, I'm new. I said, that's too bad. It's too bad. It's so sad. Stand up just for a second. Show how beautiful your girl was. Thank you. I have such respect for these people. Angel moms, angel dads, angel families. I have great respect for these people. These are great people. These are great people. They're fighting for their children that have been killed by people that were illegally in this country. And the press doesn't cover them. They don't want to, incredibly. And they're not treated the way they should be. They're fighting for other people because they don't want what happened to their children or husband or anybody. We have one young lady whose husband, please, stand up. Your husband was just killed in Maryland. Incredible man, just killed. Beautiful children won't be seeing their father again. These are brave people. These are people that they don't have to be here. They don't have to be doing this. They're doing it for other people. So I just want to thank.
So you saw him showing the victims that basically illegal aliens have murdered their family. He showed that. Now, he did say that he would be sued and stuff like that, and they have to go to the Ninth Circuit. And I told you yesterday that the DOJ was going to basically try to block it. Look, he's already signed it basically, so they can fight him later through legal battles if that's what they want to do. But like he said, plenty other presidents have declared emergencies. Surprisingly, they didn't get sued. So Ocasio-Cortez, basically, and somebody else, Castro, plans to bill to block Trump's emergency declaration. And I just heard the DOJ as well. So he went into some of the detail about that. We're also going to get into the other emergency that was already in place. Like we've been telling you, older emergencies are still in place. And he mentioned that about the Obama one. But first, we're going to get into where he says basically he'll be sued and stuff like that. So let's get into that.
Really appreciate you being here. So the order is signed, and I'll sign the final papers as soon as I get into the Oval Office. And we will have a national emergency, and we will then be sued, and they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit, even though it shouldn't be there, and we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake, and we'll win in the Supreme Court, just like the ban. They sued us in the Ninth Circuit, and we lost, and then we lost in the appellate division, and then we went to the Supreme Court, and we won. And it was very interesting because yesterday they were talking about the ban, because we have a ban. It's very helpful, Madam Secretary. Is that right? Without the ban, we'd have a bigger problem. We have a ban on certain areas.
All right, so you heard that part now. So we're going to tell you the other parts. We're not just going to say he declared an emergency and that's it. We're going to go into a little bit deeper information. The last little clip we're going to go into is the Jim Acosta clip, and then we'll talk about the Obama emergency that Trump is talking about. Lastly, Acosta gets up with a question. And of course, Acosta was the same one that got his press pass, taken away for a while because he was holding the microphone. And the lady he wouldn't give it up, basically. It was time for him to give it up. It was other people who had questions. He held on to the microphone using a little aggressive force. And so this is Jim Acosta basically getting up, and he's saying, like, you're creating a crisis. You're creating a crisis. And so we're going to go ahead and let you see this part of the clip. And it's going to be the last clip. Then we'll get into the other emergency that's going to be put in place, that's already in place, actually.
Really appreciate you being here. So the order is signed, and I'll sign the final papers as soon as I get into the Oval Office, and we will have a national emergency, and we will then be sued, and they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit, even though it shouldn't be there, and we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake, and we'll win in the Supreme Court, just like the ban. They sued us in the Ninth Circuit, and we lost, and then we lost in the appellate division, and then we went to the Supreme Court, and we won. And it was very interesting because yesterday they were talking about the ban, because we have a ban. It's very helpful, Madam Secretary. Is that right? Without the ban, we'd have a bigger problem. We have a ban on certain areas.
All right, so that was a video. It looked like that was a previous video I may have already shown. But anyway, we'll get into the next thing I want to go ahead and get into, which he talked about earlier. So basically, thanks, Obama says here. This is from lawandcrime.com. This is what he was saying basically out there. Here's the Obama executive order Trump is using to build the wall. Basically, goes down. President Donald Trump held a wide-ranging Friday press conference in which he reiterated that if you don't have a border wall, that you don't have a country. And so his innovation of National Emergency Act to help fund building the wall, the president said he aims to stop illegal immigration, influx of drugs, and criminality basically into America. He cited past emergency declarations, including one President Barack Obama, that Trump said targeted cartels. As it turns out, back in 2011, then President Barack Obama issued an executive order blocking property of transnational criminal organizations. Obama cited his authority as granted through the Constitution to invoke the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, Code 50 U.S.C. 1701, the National Emergency Act 50 U.S.C. 1601. The latter is the same legislation that Trump is citing to get funding for the wall to achieve his immigration reform goals. And so now he has that order, he said, that's already in place. It's like we said, older emergencies are still in place. Older emergencies from Reagan, from Clinton, all these, they still have emergencies in place from Obama. And so people said, well, how do emergency affect us? Right now, it's on the border. It's not full scale. But of course, we said like it could be full scale depending on what happens in the next couple of days. If they try to pull some public stunts or they start doing things, activating different groups. We'll see how that all plays out. It's on the border right now. Now, the other emergency that Obama put in, like we said, he has other emergencies still in place too. But as a president, we talked about overriding emergencies, but Trump admitted that the emergency was already in place that Obama had already put in. Let's let you know that other emergencies that we talked about are still in place as well. So that's another thing that people talk about. That's another thing that we're looking at. So I'll be watching on that end. And as far as this emergency, he went into the Oval Office, it's been signed, it's declared, it's already here. So I wanted to update you on that real quick. And let's see what people are saying based on questions and everything like this. But like we said, we had already knew that he had a U.S. code he could use. The lawyer said he didn't even have to go through all this. He could have put him straight towards the border and built the wall. And so all together with that, it still in my head trickles what's next, what's coming. They need to close the border until the wall is built. He shouldn't have signed anything. I didn't even get to read the whole thing about the DACA and everything else that people didn't like. Somebody says, how does this affect U.S.? Right now, it's only on the border as far as that. So personnel and all that stuff, they're going to come towards the border. They're going to take funds. It's gonna directly affect him, especially he's gonna go to court over all this stuff, which, like we said in the past, they didn't take any of the other presidents to court for the emergencies they did. A lot of bad emergencies too that happened. So this became a big news thing to me, and I started to question that as well. The spending bill gives a majority major funds to illegals. Yeah, exactly. And then it gives them, I believe it gives them more time to stay as well. This is what people didn't want signed, but that's been signed. So we gave you the updates. Oh, one other thing I wanted to bring up just quickly, even though we've been talking about the emergency and stuff like that. Somebody said, oh, the stock market dropped yesterday whenever this was mentioned. And I was like, yeah, it's just a flawed system anyway. And so it's based off artificial intelligence. So it can crash whenever they want it to. It can drop whenever they want to. A market shouldn't drop off little sentences and words. But that shows you the flawed system that we have. So basically, Trump is using executive power and he said some of the military generals and stuff said that he should do it. And the funds that they was using, for what they were going to use it for, he said to them, this was more important. This is what's been said. And I'm just giving you that information because I watched about 50 minutes of the live report when he was talking. And so, yeah, so we gave you this information. This doesn't mean you're going to start seeing tanks in the streets and stuff like that right now. This doesn't mean none of that. But like we said, the old emergency is in place. So we'll keep watching on this situation. It's very, very, very different situation. But anyway, Facebook will consider removing or demoting anti-vaccination recommendations amid backlash. As public pressure intensifies over how Facebook promotes misinformation about vaccines, the social media giant is considering removing anti-vaccination content from its recommendation systems, Bloomberg reported Thursday. So there you go. We're going to start seeing people who's against vaccines. They're not going to be able to speak out on that publicly. They'll just remove it all together. And so this is where we're at. And we just wanted to bring that up too as well, because it's just a crazy fight on every level. And like I said, still stay on your toes about everything. But, we already got this situation happening. He went into the Oval Office. That was an hour ago. He said, yes, he was signing the bill. The bill's been signed. The emergency has been declared on the border. So somebody says the funding bill sucks. Yeah, a lot of people said it sucks, and I agree. And so it was a compromise. It was a compromise that shouldn't have happened. Somebody said, so did he declare a state of emergency officially and just for the border states, correct? Yes. It says on the southern border, the national emergency will happen, and now they're going to build the wall there. Somebody said CDC on report states vaccines are causing other infection. I seen some of that report. We'll probably get into that a little bit later. But give you that information, and I want to give you probably one more piece of information before I head out. I'm going to give you this because it was about Haiti, basically, where it's already having unrest over there as well. And so they was telling Americans not to travel there. So we'll pull up their report real quick that I have seen earlier. So we'll put you into that. And here it is. It says, do not travel to Haiti, U.S. Tells citizens citing violent unrest. February 15th, do not travel to Haiti due to crime and civil unrest. The U.S. State Department says urging Americans to avoid the country that is wrecked with violent protests against the president. Over there, the State Department is pulling all non-emergency U.S. personnel and their family members from the country. So like I said, unrest has happened in a lot of different areas. And we've been covering it from France, from now they're saying Haiti, from Zimbabwe, Venezuela. And we're covering these reports for you live here. Somebody says, goodbye, freedoms. Goodbye, America. Well, our freedoms have been taken away little as we go. And so this is a situation we've been in. And so America acting as the people we used to be, who stood up to a lot of stuff, became more soft and just sat back and watch everything. So who we used to be, that's not who we are today. It's just an honest fact, because we would have been did something. But somebody says, I'm Haitian. If are you from Haiti? Are you in there currently? Because if you are, you could tell people more about what's going on. But anyway, just wanted to give you this report here, giving you the information, let you know everything that was happening. Telling you about the Obama emergency that's put in place. Trump already said the emergency was in place. He just was going to use the old emergency. And that makes you question all the other old emergencies that's already in place as well. And so Stephen Jackson, JWTV, breaking it down. Oh yeah, definitely. Somebody said, just got a new subscriber. You'll definitely love the reports that we put out here. And I haven't pretty much got into it, but due to censorship, of course, they've cut me back a lot more than I'm used to. And, of course, I told a lot of people that's close to me that I've been cut back farther than I'm used to, because I was getting out the information about this. And yeah, I said it was going to be last night, but it was today. I see people like AMTV. I seen what he put out just a few ago. He's like, oh, I told you. It was a month ago. My sources told me this. And he said the emergency was going to happen like a month ago. It was fake news then. And he just doesn't want to admit when he's wrong. And it's like, just admit, man, that you were wrong. So he put out the big declared emergency about a month ago. Trump declares emergency. He didn't even declare it yet. So I left a comment to AMTV earlier because I just seen a post he put up. And this man, he just doesn't want to admit when he's wrong. Like I said, I could admit it. I said last night he was going to declare the emergency. He didn't, because the bill was taking a couple of hours for him to put through. But he went to the Oval Office right after the meeting, signed a declaration. He said he's going to get sued. He's going to go to court. And this is where it's at right now. Emergencies with every single president. If you look, it was like 17 emergencies that Bill Clinton put in, and none of those was public, really. About 17. And I think he declared the most emergencies out of any president. I know Herbert Walker, I think Obama did 12. Herbert Walker, he was a little bit under that. So anyway, just want to give you that information. Yeah, they've been censoring me. They've been kind of drawing back on views and stuff like that, which is also draw back on my funding. And so we just wanted to bring that up because people say, do you have handlers? Do you have people supporting you? I'm like, I'm funded by the people. Yeah, the Google, they kind of fund me. But once the censorship started kicking in, they started doing all this stuff. They started pushing down the likes. They started taking away comments. They started censoring comments in the comments box. They started going into my direct fund. So it's just a link below, basically, where if you can, donate to support, because if you don't this time, I won't probably be able to operate next week, because it takes money to keep up JWTV Network. It also takes money to keep up the live streaming app that I do. It also takes money, basically, to even just renew the whole system, basically, that I'm using in order to operate. So if you don't support, I'm basically saying that I won't be able to operate until basically the 21st. So if you support, which you can go down to PayPal below and donate, because they've been shorting me. I haven't really told my audience this. I've been telling people that's close to me. So now I'm creating new tactics to basically get more funds and basically operate a little bit more than I have in the past, so I can beat the censorship and I can stay here and look, even if they was to ban me and I was just broke, I still would do this. I made JWTV Network free for everybody to join. And so I'm not complaining that I made it free. Go ahead and join it. I did that for you because I need to gain my audience before the super censorship kicks in. It's already kicking in and hitting me hard on funds. So they don't want us to get the truth out. They don't want us talking about it. They don't want people like me telling you the U.S. codes that Trump could have used, and he didn't need to declare emergency. He could have used the troops. He didn't even have to go through any of this. Military, basically, lawyer was talking about that, a defense expert. They were in court. I showed you the video. You can go back and look at that. So they don't want you to see that. But if you want to support me, link is right below. And we're going to get out way more information. But I definitely need your support. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a great audience. Thanks for standing up against the New World Order. What's coming next, we'll see, we'll find out. And I want to be here reporting on it as much as possible so you know exactly what's going on, because I start to look at everybody who reports on things, and I notice that even some of the top people don't talk about some of the stuff that I tell you. And so that's what it is right here on JWTV. Thanks for tuning in. We've been doing this for at least 3 years. And you know, through those 3 years, it's been a battle, and right now it's at a harder battle. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for support. We'll be back coming Monday with your support, which I know you will, and a lot of you have already been supporting. But you know, in the past, I've been asking, and nobody really been doing much. Really, it's been a few people, and I thank you for that. But they're gonna literally shut us down if you don't support. Link is below. Thanks for your support. Thanks for tuning in. And I thank all of you. And please keep standing up against the New World Order system yourself. Do it for your family. Do it for everybody around you, and prepare. Get whatever you need. But don't go into fear about these situations. Thanks for tuning in.